What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. We got a loaded show coming up, and it's Friday. That means we like to talk recruiting. That's coming up first. Big recruiting visit this week, and we're going to talk about a single player who will be in Knoxville along with your boy. Then, more recruiting news. Four-star Dre Quinn. Is he still in the mix for the Tennessee Volunteers with their 2026 recruiting class? I'll give you that answer. Then we got the latest on a four-star offensive lineman in the 2027 class. And then we're going to round this thing out with one thing I think Josh Heupel must do if they want to flip the result of last year's game against the Arkansas Razorbacks coming up tomorrow. Speaking of the Arkansas Razorbacks and speaking of SEC, we are battling with the Alabama Football Report all season long. They're the only other SEC channel that we got going around here on Chat Sports. The good thing is they're our biggest rival. And right now, we are on top of them in our season-long sub-battle, but not by much, okay? So I need you guys to help me out. Let's continue to run that score up. We've been down for a lot of this season, finally up on top, and I need you guys to help me make sure we don't ever get behind again. If you have not joined us yet, right now is the perfect time to do it. Make sure you prove to everybody in the country, everybody here at Chat Sports, that the Tennessee fan base not only is the best one in college football, it's the best one in the world. So upcoming, obviously, we got a massive game tomorrow against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Right now, Tennessee opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. But it's big for many different reasons. One of those being Gavin Williams will be in attendance tomorrow. Who is Gavin Williams, you ask? Well, that is a phenomenal question. He is a four-star safety coming up in the class of 2027, 6'1", 180 pounds. Plays his high school ball in Laverne, California. Number 135th national player in the country. Tennessee made an offer to him on October 1st, 2024, so last season, and they join a laundry list of really, really good teams who've offered this kid. Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Texas, A&M, USC, all that to say there are a ton of teams very interested in this cat, so it's a good thing that Tennessee is one of them and that he will be in town this upcoming weekend. It's not the only big visit he's gone on this season. He's already seen UCLA. Then he went to USC on September 6th, keeping things on the West Coast, mainly in the beginning of the year. He's taking the trip to Tennessee tomorrow, October 18th, the weekend after that. He's going to be in South Bend with Notre Dame, and then about a month after that, he's going to go to Washington on November 15th. So 3 of the 4 of those schools are West Coast schools. Of course, like I said earlier, he does play his college ball in Southern California, but Tennessee is still very much in the mix along with a lot of other really good programs. And look, this is going to be big because it's obvious this team needs safety help. Okay, we've talked about that pretty much through the entirety of this season. And so far, I think through Willie Martinez's tenure with the Tennessee Volunteers, there's been a lot of really good cornerbacks, but I think safety has been a continuing big question mark. That's rearing its ugly head this season. And so landing a guy who, of course, he wouldn't be on campus for a very long time, but who could be the future of this team and the future of the Tennessee Volunteers and that position, getting him in for a visit for an awesome atmosphere is going to be great for this recruiting class in 2027. You want a good recruiting vibe this weekend? Make sure you like the video. Let's send as much positivity to Knoxville, Tennessee as we can. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Again, I'm going to be in Knoxville. By the time you're watching this video, I will be in Knoxville. I could not be more excited. If you see me, say what's up. Say hello. I'd love to talk to you guys. All right, next recruiting little tidbit we got to get to. Dre Quinn. Let's get to the latest on his recruitment. Who is Dre Quinn, you ask? Well, he is a 4-star edge defender in the 2026 class who decommitted from Clemson about 2 weeks ago. Now, the funny thing is, he committed on the 25th of September. That was about a week and a half after coming and visiting for that Georgia game. A lot of people thought that those two things might be related. Well, Matt Ray with a little bit more on Dre Quinn. The Vols continue to be one of the teams involved in the recruitment of Dre Quinn. Texas maintains as the primary competitor at this point, as they finished up as the runner-up to Clemson over the summer for Quinn's initial commitment. And unfortunately, Steve Wiltfong shares the same sentiment as Matt Ray. He dropped a Fong bomb back in September, the actual day that Dre Quinn decommitted from Clemson, saying that he was putting in a crystal ball for Texas to be the guy who lands Dre Quinn. regardless of what Steve Wiltfong is saying, regardless of what Matt Ray is saying, obviously the guy who ends up making that decision will be Quinn himself, and he's got good things to say about Tennessee. This is his visit. He said, I just want to come over and give Tennessee a chance. I already been over here last year, and the atmosphere was crazy and a great game. Going against Georgia, I knew this was going to be a crazy game down the wire and experience. I just wanted to come over and talk to Tennessee. Tennessee right now definitely feels like it's in second place to Texas. But there's still time. Not a lot of time. Not as much time as you've had over the past couple of months. I mean, you still got about 2 months till signing day. So you got about 60 days to flip this kid. But we've seen Josh Heupel absolutely crush it in the recruiting ranks this season. Right now, Tennessee with the 8th ranked team in 2026 for the 2026 class. These classes will be made official in early December. Will Tennessee stay at that 8th spot? I've got a feeling they will. And if they add a guy like Dre Quinn, well, they're only going to shoot up the rankings and be a little bit higher. Where do you think the Vols will end come signing day? Will they end at 8? Will they go down? Will they go up? You let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down in that comment section, you're going to find this link, chatsports.com/UT sweatshirt. It's going to take you to this sweatshirt right here. It's a classic look, just gray with that big power tee. It feels great. I love how soft this thing feels. And it's going to make you nice, cozy, comfortable when you're in Neyland Stadium in a game in November when it's a little bit chilly outside. Okay, now the high tomorrow is going to be 77, so I won't be wearing this thing. But if it was 60, 50 degrees, I would have this thing on. I made it easy for you. Chatsports.com/UT sweatshirt. You don't even have to memorize it. All you got to do is click on that link in the comments and description. $27. That's all this costs you. $38 off. Chatsports.com/UT sweatshirt. Let's talk about another blue chip prospect. Could there be another blue chip offensive lineman on the way? Let's talk about Sean Tatum, 6'4", 310 pounds, 4-star interior offensive lineman, number 136th national player in the class of 2027. We got a lot of good kids coming to the class of 2026. He could be that big offensive line prospect for the next year's class. And Sean Tatum spoke a little bit about his recruitment with Tennessee. I'm hearing from Coach Cruz and Coach Ellerby. And we always just catch up on things. Talk about how the O-line did every game. Right now, it's Miami, Tennessee, Ohio State, Florida State, and Florida. Tennessee is definitely one of my top schools, and they have been for a while. Cool thing about this kid is he will be in attendance for that game against Oklahoma, a game my wife will be at, funny enough. Not me, her. Yes, I get it. I'm jealous about it. Regardless, let's keep talking about it. That is going to be, in my opinion, the best home atmosphere outside of that Georgia game. Obviously, tomorrow against Arkansas is going to be a huge matchup, but I've got a feeling this Oklahoma game for both teams is going to have huge implications on how the rest of the season looks up. Huge implications on the quest to make an SEC championship. That stadium's going to be hopping. That stadium's going to be jumping. That stadium's going to be packed to the brim. I cannot wait for him to see it. And speaking about Glenn Ellerby, which he did, talking about them being in contact with each other, he's been absolutely crushing it, right? You lock in Bennett Warren in the 2024 class. You lock in David Sanders in the 2025 class. Gabriel Ascenda, Kamari Blair, they're locked in for 2026. Could Sean Tatum be that 2027 offensive lineman that Glenn Ellerby continues his blue chip run on? I think if things impress him during that Oklahoma game, he may as well be. Make sure you guys have me followed on Twitter. You can find me at Joey Petersen 8. I've added over 500 followers in the last 2 months. And I'm not stopping anytime soon. My goal, 2,000 by 2026. I need you guys to help me out. I made it easy for you. I put the link to that Twitter in the comment section down below. All you got to do is click on it and give me a follow there. It's free to do so. Hourly tweets about the Tennessee Vols. I like to think I'm kind of funny. I posted a tweet just like last Saturday. It was Diego Pavia as the Rizzler. Probably my best tweet ever. So go ahead, hit me up, and give me a follow. Last up, let's talk about recruiting. Let's talk about the game tomorrow. Josh Heupel has to do this if he wants a different result from last year's game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Because your 2024 matchup ended with you on the wrong side of that scoreboard. And in a big way, 14-19. That was your final in Fayetteville. Don't believe me? I was there to watch it. As you know, Chat Sports Studios, we're in downtown Dallas, Texas. Fayetteville, Arkansas is 4.5 hours away. So me and my wife, we made the trip up, and we even made the trip back that night. Talk about a contentious car ride. I was really upset. She was really upset. She actually, this is how cool she is, almost fought an Arkansas fan who was a girl. I literally had to hold her back because she was getting so pissed off. Regardless, I digress. Arkansas held you to your lowest point total in 2020. 14. You scored more against Georgia. You scored more against Ohio State. The Hogs held you to 14. How did they do that? Well, they pretty much showed you 3 high safeties all game long. They had an odd man front pretty much all game long. They ran that 85% of the time. So what are the advantages to this 3 high safety? Well, it improves deep pass coverage, check against Tennessee, check against Joey Aguilar, increased flexibility to disguise coverages, and a better matchup against a spread offense, which exactly is what Tennessee is. However, although Josh Heupel, we get it, he's run a lot more tight. Still, at the end of the day, he's a lot more wide than most offenses in college football. Well, Josh Heupel was actually asked about this in his Monday afternoon press conference, and he said the success that they had, and their 3 down, 3 safety stuff from last year, we got to be prepared for that. And that's kind of where we're pointing our emphasis, and then react to whatever else we see and be able to adjust during the course of the football games. And he's right. He's 100% right. That needs to be the offense's focus going through this week. I will admit, you are better this year. You're better on the offensive line. You're better at the quarterback position. I believe you got better weapons in the wide receiver room. In Arkansas, they're worse defensively than they were last year as well. They got one of the worst defenses not only in the SEC, but in all of football. But Arkansas defended you like only Georgia has. Now, they won't have their defensive coordinator. They won't have their defensive line coach. They won't have one of their defensive assistants. Petrino, he already got rid of all 3 of those guys. But still, it looked really good against you last year. Now, like I said already, part of that was your really bad offensive line. I think Lance Hurd that game had a PFF grade of 24. He was absolutely horrific. Regardless, you weren't able to put points up on the scoreboard. With saying that, though, there is some ways to beat a 3 high safety line. So the way you do that, you spread the field out, okay? Establish the run and establish it early. This is going to be key because the more you run the ball, the better you run the ball, the less they're going to be able to put 3 guys in that defensive line or have a light box. They're going to have to bring guys down to defend that run a little bit better. The ways you help that as well is use RPOs effectively, use play action, and then you got to be successful in the passing concepts of daggers and floods. What a flood is basically when every single route in the offense is going one direction. This is a good look of flood route. You got the X receiver on a little bit slant, same with that Y tight end, and you got your 2 other receivers on that side, usually run out of trips. One of them's running just like a 10-yard out. One of them's running like a 12-yard post. Okay? That's a flood. Everything going one direction. That's a good 3 high beater. And the reason it is because a lot of times the safety on the right side has to choose, what do I defend? Do I defend that out or do I defend that do I defend that post? For a dagger, it's kind of the opposite of a flood. You got mixing routes. You got that Y receiver, that tight end. He's going on a little bit of a cross, like a 3-yard. And then you have that X receiver. He's doing a 10-yard crossing route as well. If you get mix-ups, you send a couple goes at them, those safeties have to make decisions. You attacked one safety with 2 routes. They make a choice. Joey Aguilar makes you pay. If you do those things, you put up points. Plain as that, simple as that. Arkansas's defense is not that great. You're going to be able to score. But they're going to throw a lot of 3 high at you last year because it was successful. You're going to see that again, I can promise you. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you have me followed on social media. Make sure you got me on TikTok and on Instagram. And make sure you subscribe. I'll give you a little heads up. We're not going to have an instant reaction video tomorrow. Reason being, I'm going to be at the game. But, hey, we'll be back with a video on Sunday. So make sure you subscribe. Don't miss a thing right here on the channel. We'll see you next time.